I'm going to go ahead and share screen and make sure my audio is being shared as well. Okay. Let's see, share computer sound. Yes. All right. So here we are, the 16th already. And just a quick reminder that lectures 1 through 4 are up on YouTube. Thanks to Alexa's doing an awesome job, and I appreciate it so much. She's amazing, all the stuff you can do. And lectures 5 and 6 slides are on our Google Drive. If you want to slip through those, I'd like you to just kind of check them out. If you only have time to look through one set, maybe look through the end of lecture 6, because that's going to be relevant to our lab exercise tomorrow and a little bit of today. All right, it's just about timing sounds to animations. We have chapter 5 we've been reading, hopefully. We've been going through the kind of an introduction to sound design in games. And I have our second homework assignment posted on Canvas, and that is going to be from lectures 5 and 6 and the book chapter 5, which will be due next Tuesday before midnight. And I have the video, the commentary rather, for lectures 5 and 6 completed, and that'll be up on YouTube shortly. I'll send out an announcement when that's all put together for you. So today we're going to have a little bit of a tutorial on some aesthetic improvements you can make in your workstation to kind of ease the flow, the workflow in production. I'm going to show you time compression and expansion. I touched on it briefly in one or both of the in-class exercises the other day, but I'm going to formalize it here. Using regions, pitch control, and we're going to also learn about fader automation. You don't ever have to use it if you don't want, but if you like it, it may be something a technique that you may like to continue to use for future projects. If you find yourself doing point after point after point of volume envelope, or faders or panning rather, or what have you. So here's your faders in version 5, and the equivalent of this may be a MIDI fader control, where if you're doing a lot of volume, for example, you may want to invest $100 in one of these MIDI fader controllers, and so it'll recall all the steps you had. Some of them are motorized; those cost a lot more, but they physically recall where the fader positions were for anywhere from a single fader to maybe 16 or 32 different faders. So today is going to be a warm-up exercise. I'm moving the lab, our basically larger exercise, to tomorrow, because I want to have a little warm-up exercise today. All right, you have some extra time to put this together if you want, but whatever you can do, if you feel like posting it later today, that's fine. Okay, just a participation grade 1 point. The warm-up exercise is for timing footsteps to walk cycles. Now, the one on the left, the very mundane looking stick figures, are one we're going to work with today. We're just going to do simple edits. And so I figured, well, let's have a simple visual. And tomorrow we'll have some more elaborate animations that have walk cycles, or maybe they have wings, like dragons flapping wings, and beasts with more than 2 legs, maybe they have 4 legs. And so we can figure out how to time footsteps to walk. Whoops. You can unmute. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if you can hear me. I lost all my windows. That was bizarre. All right. Chat. Okay, cool. I don't know what the heck happened there. I hope the room was still open. Looks like it was. That was really weird. So it was like, oh, Professor fell off his chair. And the computer went flying. So now everything's good. All right, so I'm going to create these breakout rooms if we need them. Bear with me 1 second. And all I was saying was that we're going to be doing timing sounds to animations, and we'll use markers to kind of drop in areas where we think the sound should line up with a particular frame. In various animation like software, like say you're working with Maya or even traditional Max, you could have an event, a marker, a keyframe, whatever you like to call it, placed internally, and then as a sound designer, I could call that or look for it, reference it in an animation playback in game, and say, when this keyframe exists for this character, play a sound. And that could be a footstep, that could be a sword swing, spell cast, whatever you like. And you can have as many of these as you like. And sometimes they're called callbacks. There's multiple terms for them, but in terms of audio, usually we call them a key frame of an animation. Okay, and we're going to simulate some of that today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my Reaper screen with you. And I'm just going to assume you have a basic template now set up for seconds and all the usual setups here. In Canvas, you'll find exercise 4, walk this way. And I'll give you a minute or two to unpack that. Just a zip file with the instructions. And it also has another copy of the original basic operations PDF. It's kind of like some commands that are basic commands that you can review on there. And a walk cycle animation. And a couple of sound files just to get you started. I'd like you to explore Freesound if you could. Look for some specific surfaces that, footsteps in water or concrete or sand, whatever you like. It could be any texture. And we're going to try to sync them up to 2 different files, 2 different walk cycles. It'll be the same animation, but we're just going to have 2 different files. And let me go ahead and show you how it's going to work. I'll walk you through it here. Walk you through the walk cycle. So once you get that set up and unpacked somewhere, open Reaper. And if I'm going too fast, just let me know. All right, let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Let's delete that marker. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the media, which is exercise 4, walk cycle. Oops, that should be on track 1. You can put it anywhere you like, but I like to put video on track 1 if I have any video at all to use. And open up the video window. You can go to View Video Window or Control-Shift-V, like that. Right. Let me just minimize my windows here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just play this animation and see what it looks like. It's pretty basic. In fact, it's extremely basic. The walk cycle lands on half-second intervals, so 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, like that. So it'd be very easy to, if you have your grid set up for seconds, to be able to drop down footsteps in very even intervals, okay? And I want it to be as easy as possible today because it's a warm-up exercise. So let's go ahead and get some sound in there. And I've got footsteps on metal. Whoops, put that down here on track 2. Okay, you see my volume envelope is open right there. And I've got 2 tracks. I've already gone ahead and I've decided, you may want to do it a different way, but I've decided that I'm going to have a left and a right foot on separate tracks. And you don't have to do things this way. Like, this is your project. But some people like to have it all kind of stacked together. And if you know that you're going to have a lot of segments, you're going to hit S multiple times, okay? It can get unwieldy if you get lots of crossfades within crossfades and things. So if you know you're going to have a walk cycle, sometimes it's good just to have a left and a right track. So I know my lefts will always be on track 2 here, and my rights will be on track 3, like this. And they're not lined up at all yet, but I can just start for position. I can just start listening. I'll go ahead and check out the video window in tandem with hitting the space bar here. All right, so it's beyond not right. We have to go ahead and fix all that. And so what you'll do is, let me lower my, here we go, get a little more real estate here. What we're going to do is just start boxing those in. And we can simply do that by, I can zoom into a tolerable amount, almost like I can stand doing it, don't go too close to the frame or anything, but pretty close, and just start looking to see where these should fall. Now, I know they're going to be half-second intervals, so I can step through it depending on the computer you're using, whether it's a desktop or a laptop. Either the arrow keys or maybe your numeric keypad arrows should be able to have your cursor just kind of slowly go through like this, okay? Or you can just hold it down. I'm just holding down my arrow keys here. If you want to look for a frame, look at the video window. See where footstep falls, bang, right there. And I'll make a guess. And just as a reminder, I'll press M for marker. All right. And then I can just say, oh, all right, I know where the footstep is. I can just do that. And what you might want to try is just going through the video first before you put any sound in there, and just look for where the footsteps land. And again, we know they're in half-step intervals, so I don't have to do too much guesswork. I know, like, it's going to be every half second, and you have just a few seconds to work with here. You don't have to do a ton. But we have pay no attention to that color yet, two different regions. So I want to have footsteps on, say, metal, and the other one on wood. I can render out two separate regions. So let's say this is the one for metal, and I have wood. I can copy, Control C, and just Control V, delete this. Another instance of that video. It's an independent instance of that video. It's not tied to it in any way. They're not grouped or anything. Or you can just hold down Control, left click, and drag and get another copy of it like that. Same thing. But if I want to be exporting, and I say I had like 90 of these animations, I want to have a quicker way than just manually like left click where I think it should be and drag. And as I showed you in an earlier exercise, if you hold on Shift and double click on the longest clip in the area, 1, 2, your in and out points will be selected. So I can click on this area and left click, Shift, left click twice. So there's my in and out points. And now I can create a region. And a region is really convenient because it is like a giant marker that just stretches over time. And it's really convenient for things like rendering on a walk cycle pattern or a particular spell casting moment or whatever in a character, for example. So Shift R is the command to create a region. Shift R. Boom. So I can go over here, Shift R. And I don't know why Reaper does this little quirk of Reaper. You can double click on a marker and name it, right? You can say, footstep. Oops. But you can't double click on a region. You have to for some reason Shift double click on the region. Okay, so we can just say walk on wood or something like that. Oh, this is metal, walk on metal. And then this one, Shift double click, may be walk on wood. All right, so this is a convenient way to speed up your workflow. Now, it may also be a situation where you have a lot of animations, a lot of tracks, and you're just starting to feel like, man, these are all looking the same. I can't remember what's left and right, and I've got wing flaps and tails slithering, I got all this stuff. What am I going to do? You may want to color code your events. And how we do that is very simple. You can left click on any region here, any event, and select item and take colors. I'm right clicking now, item and take colors, and you can set an item to whatever color you like. You can use a color picker. You can use whatever you like. I'll just say, I like to make this, make it green, left foot. And then I can go down here, right click, item and take colors. And maybe I'm feeling lucky. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that. How about a random color? Just give me one random color. Bang. And it gave me today, like a teal. It's very pretty, but let me try something else. It's too close. There we go. Purple. That's what I got last time. It was like Incredible Hulk colors. So we have a Hulk walk cycle here. And that works for me. And I could go ahead and replicate colors. I could do it to the track as well. So I can right click on the track information window here, or panel, and I can go to track color, custom color. Let's make it blue. And down here I can say right click, track color, and make it orange. As I told my last section, like, I'd be the worst interior decorator. It's like a really bad choice. I've got a melange of every era of style and color in this room. Kind of a plaid setup here. All right, but you get the idea. You can colorize as you need to, and it may help you with remembering where certain categories of sounds are. Again, all just optional stuff here, okay? So I've taken the trouble to go ahead and do a little of that for you. I've placed down some markers. I've created some color, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and watch. And I've only got a few seconds here of good